Hey, Fallon. Sanjay, if you can give us the link to the YouTube live stream.
YouTube live? Yes, absolutely. Let me.
And then just pop it in the chat, either to everybody or to Fallon. And then we'll get that onto the 7 Marketing Basics Facebook group as well. Hey, Fallon. Sanjay, if you can give us the link to the YouTube.
Yes.
Let me
close the browser. Yes, absolutely. Let me.
And then just pop it in.
Love the feedback when that happens.
Yeah, about 30-second delay on YouTube usually, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's probably a combination of turning it on, and I have the browser running, so I need to always remember to close it after I turn it on. So there we go. I think it's about a minute to go, folks. Welcome, everyone. We'll do a formal welcome in a little bit. Yeah. Alan Holmes. Good to see you, Alan.
Hey, Sanjay, how are you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. Welcome. Janice, how are you? Long time.
Yeah, good to see you, Sanjay.
Yeah, Mr. Bruce Webb. I appreciate it, sir, for being one of the most regular ones. Bruce, your mic is on mute. No worries.
I'm always here for you, Sanjay.
Thank you, sir.
Because you provide good value.
Coach Steve Smith, welcome again, sir. Thank you.
Sanjay, thanks for doing this. It's nice to be involved, so appreciate it.
All right, folks, it's 12 p.m., June 11th, the year of 2021. I appreciate everybody joining today for our awesome Fireside Chat with Cindy Zulsdorf, or she goes by Cindy Z, but I wanted to say her name correctly if I could. I think it has German roots. That's the best I could get, but we'll get it from Cindy later on. I appreciate everybody joining on a Friday. We are doing this on Fridays now. We used to do Wednesdays and we did Thursdays, and I said, oh, let's do Fridays because folks are more relaxed. They're not too concerned about what's next. So I think we'll keep this going. Again, it's an awesome topic today. The topic is how to sell more while doing less. And, I'm kind of curious about it. Cindy here has written a new book that got released last year on Amazon and has been doing really well on the small business side of things. And I'm sure we're going to hear a whole lot about that in a little bit. But let me share with you a couple of slides here to get the context, and then let's get the Fireside Chat rolling. Let me share my screen here quickly. Hold on. There we go, folks. We already talked about that, the do less and sell more, but I wanted to share a quote here which has some relevance to today's topic about the doing less part, or the doing the most important part. And this is from Brian Chesky, which most of you know now as the co-founder of Airbnb. Quick show of hands in the chat. How many of you have rented a place from Airbnb in the last few years? I think almost everybody has. And he said, build something 100 people love, not something 1 million people kind of like. And I think that is the crux of marketing, isn't it? I think a lot of us are in a hurry to go a mile wide and an inch deep, as they say, and then you don't get nothing. And the reality is, if you actually focus in on a few things, which is, as Brian is saying, 100 people love, then you may end up building something like the next Airbnb. And I think this is a great context for today's topic as well. The do less, sell more. And before we get into the Fireside Chat, I wanted to do a quick overview of oGoing. Some of you already seen this, so pardon me for repeating some of this on oGoing. but we'll do a quick one. It's a growing business community, over 100,000 members now. And our focus has always been, the small, growing, and diverse businesses. And we're keeping that focus, and thank you everybody who have joined and who are active and who are sharing their stories on oGoing. But what it does is it does three things really well. It helps you boost your social media brand, not only on oGoing, but on some of the key social networks, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. So once you're active on oGoing, it helps you do that. It helps you boost your business networking online. With over 100,000 members now and in 99 different business categories, I think it's a great place for you to join and connect and meet fellow business owners and coaches and consultants, entrepreneurs alike. So do that. And importantly, it helps you boost your SEO rank. Now, this didn't come easy. A lot of people know SEO as a kind of a dark thing, in the sense of it's complex, nobody gets it, but everybody knows they need it. And the reason is, you want your website and your content to rank higher on the search engines, hopefully on the first page of Google, if you really work hard, and the likes of Bing and Yahoo and now DuckDuckGo, and there are quite a few new search engines, by the way, lately, which are quite interesting. But the fact is, the more active you are on oGoing, the higher ranking you get, and we have proven that. And which is pretty awesome, isn't that? Because of the fact that we have been around for 10 plus years now. By the way, 12th year of oGoing, how cool is that? This June, So Alan, you've been there from day one, as Coach Steve and some of the folks here. So really appreciate the journey with us. And so we get a good, authentic boost by being on oGoing, as in the businesses. And, the more active you are, the more visibility you get online for your website and through your oGoing profile. So I invite everybody here to join and share your stories. It's just go to ogoing.com, and it just takes 5 minutes to get going. Along with that, we also have affordable social media services. I know some of you are marketeers here, so some of what we do here overlaps with you, but our focus has always been the solopreneurs and the small businesses. So our pricing is akin to their budgets, and we have some awesome services starting at $99 a month and up. It's free to join oGoing and share your stories. There is never going to be a fee for that. But if you want some of the extra boost, then we do have a few services that you can use as well. So what I want to do is, depending on how many folks we have, let's see if we can get a quick roundtable going here. It's a small crowd, so let's give everybody 30 seconds or so, if you all can stick to your times. And besides sharing your story through the voice, I also welcome you to share it through chat. The reason is that way everybody can see who you are and connect with you later on as well. So why don't I start with Bruce? Bruce, go ahead and give your 30 seconds, your business, yourself, and what's your biggest need today. And unmute your mics when you do that.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am Bruce Webb. After 20 years in marketing and 20 years in sales, I now am working for I have different arrows in my quiver, different services that I hook people up with, mostly involving increasing the bottom line through savings, everyday savings. Like we can save somebody in 40 different operating expenses like freight, and we save one fruit company $215,000 in freight and packaging materials. So there's a lot of ways in everyday expenses people can save money, and they take their fee out of the savings and everybody wins. I also have a unique lending program that's 3.5% interest, and it's great for real estate construction, capital, working capital, and film production. Bruce Webb.
Thank you, Bruce. Great to see you again, sir. Alan, let's go. 30 seconds, Alan. See if you can keep it close.
Oh, there he is. Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for being part. 12 years allowing me to be part of your world, sir. I'm honored and humbled. I met Sanjay in Orange County a while back. But yes, Alan Holmes. I'm him in California on the way to Rancho Cucamonga. Community is the essence of business, and we do business with those we know, like, and trust. And I am your master connector. I take all this information online, sideline, offline, and just kind of condense it into the human element. I served in the military from 87 to 90, so take care of your veterans. I specialize in collaboration with taking care of my amazing wife who has mental illness, so I'm eradicating poverty. So I'm just here to be of service, to learn from the great Steve Smith. He's on my way there in the corner. I miss him so much. Just love having fun. So thank you so much for allowing me to be part of the world. Alan Holmes, Master Connector, and off to the next superstar. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. You mentioned Coach Steve Smith, so let's go with Coach Steve next. Coach, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Sanjay. My name is Steve Smith. My company is Growth Source Coaching, and I work with two primary clients, people who own businesses and people who are in managerial or executive level roles in larger companies. And when you really boil it down, my primary reason for being is to help people embrace and get over the change that they need to do in order to get to where they want. Most people kind of live in a state of mediocrity because at some point they can't adapt and do better, and so as a result they just kind of live where they are. And so when I work with somebody, the first thing I'm looking at is, what do we need to change into? And what have you done so far so I can help you do some new things? Because my background is in leadership, management, marketing at a very large level, and I've learned how to scale that down to the small business environment. So that's what I do. Thanks, Sanjay.
Thank you, Coach Steve. Really appreciate you joining. Janice, let's go, Janice. How are you?
Yeah, I'm busy texting Cindy right now.
Awesome.
from the chat.
Multitasking always.
And it's so fun to see other people in sales and marketing. That's my background too, as a full-time, marketer, and also a sales and partnerships, business development. I've had my own company since 2011, but I've also changed industries and functions about 10 times, I think, in the last 10 years. Currently, I'm in full-time augmented reality technology, delivering augmented reality for events, education, e-commerce, and advertising. And I'm also building out a program to help others with their career shifting and their social lifting, is what I'm calling it. So happy to chat with anyone about how we can collaborate.
Thank you, Janice. Looking great. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Abhi, go ahead. Abhi Mahule.
Hi. Yeah. Thanks, Sanjay, for the invite. Hello, everybody. My name is Abhi Mahule. I have a startup. I'm based here in the Silicon Valley, and I'm primarily operating in the healthcare space. We are working on a early stage phase of a telehealth, telemedicine startup. But I'm also doing, investing on the side. So I've done a fair bit of angel investing. And I've also worked as a software executive in the industry for a while. Last role was at Roku, where I led the mobile engineering division. So thanks again, Sanjay. It's great to meet you all.
Roku is doing awesome. I'm sure you're going to do great in your new startup. It looks like you're a voracious reader. I see all the books in the back.
Yeah. Love reading. Whenever I get time.
You probably recommend a book or two in your chat. That'll be great, Abhi. Thank you.
I will for sure.
Let's go, Alok. Alok Nath, please. Alok. Alok, are you there? Okay, well,
Sorry, I was muted.
No worries. Go ahead, Alok.
Yeah, my name is Alok Nath. I run a company called Kuberis, based right here in Orange County. And we focus on the e-commerce logistics space. And basically what we do is we allow merchants to connect into marketplaces and e-commerce platforms, and we streamline the whole back end of their shipping and fulfillment process.
Great to see you, Alok. Looking good there. Thanks for joining us. Let's go, Balaji. Balaji Rao. Balaji, go ahead, please. Balaji, are you there?
Unmute.
Yeah, go ahead, unmute yourself. Yeah, please do unmute yourself when you guys are chatting. There you go. Let's go with Brad Hall. Brad, go ahead. Brad, are you online?
Yeah, remind everybody the key to these Zoom calls
Chat.
is holding down your space bar
Yes.
when you want to unmute. That is the key, because it's real easy to just lift up your hand and you instantly go back to mute. So
Love it, Brad.
That's the easiest way to go back and forth, because it takes what, half a click to be able to comment and then instantly go back to mute. So anyway, my name's Brad Hall. I'm the managing partner here in Orange County, Irvine Spectrum for MGO CPAs. We handle clients from, if I said 10 million to 2 billion. That's an accurate area of our focus. Been doing it for 40 years. Love what I'm doing, and glad to be a part of this group.
Thank you, Brad. And Brad is how we started oGoing's accounting business. So I appreciate Brad. Historically speaking, yes. Let's go with Dave Austin. Dave, go ahead, please.
I'm trying to unmute. There we go. There we go. This is Dave Austin, National Cost Recovery Services. I'm looking for any business that would like to save on their expenses. And I mean any expenses. The only two items we take off the table are payroll and the physical building, the brick and mortar. Short of that, everything's there for us to look at. And everything we do is on a win-win. We don't charge you until after we've provided the savings. So it's a definite win-win. And how you doing this afternoon, Bruce?
I'm doing great, Dave. You got to talk to Dave. Dave has got tremendous experience in cost savings. Tremendous.
Thank you, Bruce and Dave, the old buddies here. They always take away more of my time on this Zoom meeting. I need to get back to you guys on this. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. We have Elia Shop. Elia, how are you? I guess I'm not saying the name correctly. It's
You're saying correct, Ilya. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Sorry, I joined late. I was on SMT meeting. Hello, Cindy. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Ilya, nice to see you.
Me too. Sorry, I probably missed the presentation, right, on the video tips.
No, you're all good. We're doing the intros. You're good.
Okay. Still doing intros. Okay, great.
So you get
I'm in Ontario, Canada. Sorry, didn't hear you, Sanjay.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, it will take a lot of time.
Everybody gets 30 seconds to say who they are and what they're doing.
Anyway, I'm a broadcast OTT professional, more than 3 decades in the broadcast business in Europe and in Canada. That's all.
That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that. That was brief and to the point. Love it. Fallon, you're here. F-A-L-L-O-N. I'm sorry I'm not saying your name correctly, Fallon.
Nope, that's great. And thank you again, Brad, for that tip. That's something I didn't know about Zoom. Very cool. I work with Cindy at Kokoro, and I'm an automation expert. I work a lot in Keep. And I'm just here to learn some stuff and happy to be here.
Thank you, Fallon. Flo, good to see you again. Flo, are you here?
Good afternoon. Good to see you as well. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Flo Elkins. I am a fitness and wellness professional in the Los Angeles area. I work with female entrepreneurs as well as female master rowers, helping them lose weight, gain strength and power, and live their best life. I am the creator of Lift to Lose, which is living in fullness today. And I have a rowers edition as well as entrepreneurs. So thank you for having me.
So I have to see one of your videos, especially the rowing videos. I'm so curious.
Yes.
I was really bad in rowing, so I have to see what I can do. Thanks for joining us, Flo. I appreciate it. Hark, what's up? Hark, go ahead, please.
Hark Vasa, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Hark Vasa. We are making teeth whitening products for consumers as well as for dental offices. And we are super excited because our business is just taking off drastically, going very rapidly. We've been invited by both Walmart as well as Target now to make presentations to them. So we think that will go very successfully. That will put us on a path to multi-million-dollar increase in the business volume. So we are excited about that. And about 3 months from now, we will be going to angel investors to raise about $500,000 in capital for convertible notes. And we have a lot of interest from investors invested in business. But I want to first get both Target and Walmart contracts signed and get going before we go to the investors. So that's where we are. Thank you.
That's awesome, Hark. Love the progress you guys are making. And the company is called Pop White, guys. I'm sure Hark will put a link in there. And great products. Thank you, Hark. Oh, great to see you. Ken here. Ken Dubose. Ken, how are you?
Good, Sanjay. Thank you for hosting this today. It's good to see you.
Looking great, sir.
Yeah. My name is Ken Dubose. I'm the co-owner and co-founder of a company called Business Group Resources. We focus on helping companies take advantage of a federal program called the Research and Development Tax Credit. In the last 4 years alone, we've helped about 1,700 companies get back more than $120 million of cash from that program. We're currently averaging about $1 million a week in recovery. It's all our tax team does is R&D recovery, and that's it. And many companies leave thousands of dollars on the table every year simply because they don't know about this program.
Thank you, Ken, for joining. Looking awesome there. Let's go with Larisse Marsh. Larisse, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
I am Larisse Marsh, and I work in protection products. I work with business owners to help them protect their employees, to offer benefits, insurance benefits for their employees so that they keep these employees. These benefits are at no cost to the employer, and it is not AFLAC. And I also help seniors with their Medicare education and enrollment. One of the things that we do is give back to women and children in Kenya.
Thank you, Larisse, and be careful while you're driving. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. Yes. Ramesh Patel. Ramesh, how are you, sir? Use the space.
I'm good, thank you. Just wanted to thank you, Sanjay, for invitation. Unfortunately, I'm in and out, so from the screen, but a little bit about my background. I'm involved an investor primarily, as well as a business, variety of business platforms from manufacturing to retail, as well as I'm a board member of the Thai SoCal Investment Fund 2021, as well as I'm an active member of the TCA, Tech Coast Angel Group, and investment club there as well. And then I have a couple of other investment portfolios as well. So looking forward to learning from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh, for joining. I appreciate it. Quick intro from Randy. Randy, how are you, sir? Randy the locksmith Johnson.
Just had to unmute myself. I'm in a retail establishment, so I've got to wear a mask, unfortunately. I break into homes, businesses, and safes. I also repair them. When I open a home, it's typically not broken. That's not my form of entering. I get to do it legally because I'm a locksmith and a safe cracker. So company name is LockTech, and I'm Randy Johnson, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Randy. Looking good with the hat and now a mask as well. Great. Okay. Thanks for joining, Randy. Rab here. Rab Risti. Rab, how are you?
Good. Hi. Thank you. Thanks for the tip. I'm holding my bar right now. I'm Rab Risti, head Rebel at Rebel Marketing. We have a small boutique marketing firm here in San Diego. We help our clients scale their marketing department by strategy and planning, branding, messaging, and video content. We love video content and helping our clients tell their story through video.
That's great, Reb. What is that on the screen? Is it Manhattan or is it LA?
You know, I don't know. My husband put it up, so
No worries. It looks cool.
I just work here. I don't actually pay attention to anything.
Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Rishabh Mehta. Rishabh, go ahead, please.
Hi, I'm Rishabh. I'm the CEO of Matchbook AI, which is an enterprise technology company here in Los Angeles. And we are trying to now scale sales and marketing, B2B sales and marketing, which is why I was intrigued by today's session.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you joining. And I think we have Sturdy here. I think I got everybody. Sturdy, go ahead, please.
Hey, Sanjay. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm Sturdy McKee. I'm a business coach and advisor. I help business owners free up their time and make more money.
Oh, that was quick, Sturdy. That's it. I appreciate it.
Sturdy coaching. Thanks.
Manmohan Chopra. Sorry, I missed Manmohanji. Manmohan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just started to leave for 5 minutes. I'm back. Manmohan Chopra. I'm a small businessman, also founder of Help Save a Village, an author, and trying to do some Amazon. I'm trying to set up an Amazon store, so I was interested in how this works and all that stuff. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, sir. I appreciate it. Balaji, are you back?
Thank you.
Balaji, use the space bar to unmute. Balaji Rao. Okay, one more chance. Okay, I think that's fine. Maybe he's in the middle of something, but so let me formally introduce with our guest today. But before I do that, I want to do a quick pulse here on how's business. I love doing this quick polls to get a pulse of what's happening on your end of the things. Go ahead and answer the question, and I'll share the results, for everybody to see. Yes, how's business? Let's get a quick pulse going from folks here in the audience. It's about what's happening today, maybe even thinking about what could happen in the next 6 months as well. So let me go ahead and give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. Let me go ahead and end the poll and share the results. And it's good to see progress from what I used to see last year to this year. A lot of folks are in the good and great categories, which is awesome. I think we'll keep that going, and it's a few in the okay, but nobody in the not bad. So that's great, and so let's keep that positive thought going for house business, and we'll keep doing better as the year goes by. And now let me make a formal introduction with our speaker and our guest of the day. Meet Cindy Zulsdorf. Cindy, how is it going?
It's so great. Thank you for having me here. Nice to meet everybody. Super interesting to hear about all the different businesses.
Yeah, so Cindy is the CEO of Kokoro Marketing and the author of the recent book on Amazon, which I'm sure comes from a lot of practical experience she has had. And which we'll talk about that. The book is 7 Marketing Basics, Do Less, Sell More. And anytime somebody's asking me to do less, it always piques my attention. Yeah, I think it's a great title. And we're going to do a fireside chat with Cindy now and have, I'm going to ask her a few questions, but it's not just about me asking her, I'm sure you all have a lot of good questions to ask her as well. So I would have you all be ready with your questions. And if we can't get to all of them, I'm sure we will get to them eventually, either through chat or Cindy has promised, through email as well. So again, Cindy, welcome to our fireside chat, and really thank you for promoting it and sharing it with everybody on LinkedIn and beyond. So it is good to see you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sanjay. Really great.
So Cindy, we'll start off with a simple question. Tell us one thing that most people don't know about you.
Oh, right. You tipped me off to this yesterday, and then I went away and didn't think about it. Let's see. Well, most people on this call wouldn't know that today I'm having a graduation party for my daughter in an hour, and she graduated high school. So that's pretty fun. And something that this might be like too outside. I haven't met the group very long, but what the heck? I worked in a music store a long time ago, and I really liked one of the bands, and we sold a lot of their music, and I got a tattoo of that band on my foot. So that's something that probably most people don't know about me.
Do you care to share who the band is, who has been so lucky?
No problem. It's no one that I've listened to in ages. I don't even know if they're around anymore. It's this band called, and forgive me if you speak German, I want to say it's called Einstürzende Neubauten. It was kind of this like noise band. So that's a little crazy, but there you go. Something most people don't know about me. I bet Fallon's laughing.
Next time you see Cindy in her flip-flops and you see that tattoo, then you know where that came from. Great way of saying it. And the other part, which I was going to put you on the spot on, is she's originally from Wisconsin, Madison, or she went to school there. And it's a little bit.
Yeah, I grew up there.
She grew up there too, as well. So compare and contrast for us. I would say Wisconsin versus California. Not that you grew up there being an adult, but maybe you can.
Comparing Madison, Wisconsin to Grass Valley, California?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Madison, Wisconsin, it's really international. There's people from all over the world there. As you walk down the street, since it's a university town, there's people speaking different languages and different cultures. And I loved that. It's a little colder there in the winter. Though here where I live in Grass Valley, California, there is snow here, and I go skiing more often here. Because I'm like an hour-ish from Tahoe. I ski more now that I moved to California than I did when I lived in Wisconsin. But it's a very small town where I live. And I know Ilya's been here, and maybe some of the other folks on the call have been here as well.
That's great. That's a good segue right there. And I mentioned she's a CEO of Kokoro Marketing, and the name always makes me curious when I see something a little different, like oGoing, for instance. Just kidding. But Kokoro, what's the roots? What is the why behind it, and who are Kokoro's customers, if I may?
I'm so glad you asked about the name. It's so dear to my heart because the name Kokoro means heart, mind, and spirit. And so, Alan, you mentioned know, like, and trust, that we know, like, and trust the people we work with and our clients. And Kokoro means it means heart, mind, and spirit, because it's all about knowing and liking and trusting the people that you're working with. And because I feel like when we're in sales, we have to know what the other person cares about. What's in it for them? What do they like? And so that's why the name Kokoro. And I went round and round. Should I pick the name of the local mountain is Banner Mountain? Should I pick some kind of Grass Valley name? And then I picked Kokoro, and there it is.
You're stuck. That's awesome. No, I love it. So it has Japanese roots, the name itself. Yeah.
The name is, it's a Japanese word, Kokoro. So if you go to Japan, you'll see tons of restaurants named Kokoro, and it's a very popular word there. And you'll see heart and Kokoro and stuff like that. But anyway, I really liked it. That's
great. And I want to now make a jump into the book itself, the 7 marketing basics. How cool it is that it was #1 on Amazon's marketing for small business list. That has to be a great feeling for you personally, Cindy. And the book actually draws upon the Pareto principle, which many of us who have lived in Silicon Valley, I was there for 10 plus years, and some of the folks today are on the call from there, the 80-20 rule, which is, 80% of the results, they come from 20% of the effort. Or that's what the principle alludes to. But now when it comes to marketing, and we have a lot of business owners and CEOs here in the audience, is it really true, Cindy? Can they just do 20% marketing? Would it really work?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so the way the book came about is, and you asked who some of our customers are, so I'll just bring that into it as well. What happened was, we were going along doing work, Fallon and Kristen and Kitty and other people on our team going along doing work for our customers. And Ilya knows we primarily work, our marketing services are in the broadcast media area. So a lot of our customers are making hardware and software that get used in TV stations or video facilities or play out, that kind of thing. And so we were looking at what's working the most, what are we doing for everybody, and sort of what's not working as well, what are kind of one-offs and outliers. And I was sitting there with a bunch of sticky notes, writing out like what's working and stacking them up. And I came to, well, there's about 7 things we're doing all the time. And those are bringing in really the bulk of the results. And so we realized that those things can be used for every business. And all the folks that would call me and ask me like, hey, can you tell me what's working? Or can I ask you a quick question? I was like, I got to write this down and share it with everybody, because it's true. People are just working so hard, working 26 hours a day, doing everything, doing all the things. And really, if you pick the things that work well, you don't have to crush yourself with your schedule. You can do a few things and get a ton of results.
That's a great point. So pick the things that work well. I think that's the bottom line here. And in the book, and I was able to download it on Kindle and read it, last weekend and this week as well. There is an important thing in there, which is the life cycle marketing master plan. And
it's true.
And which has 3 key pillars in there. And what is this plan about? You mentioned in there the word holes to opportunities. Maybe you can allude us, maybe give us a little more color on that.
Well, yes. It's so important to figure out where to start in one's business. And I'm sure, Steve, you were talking about the different people you coach with, and there feels like you can do a million things, but how do you know where to start? And so we put this marketing master plan together. And I think Fallon has put in the chat, if you text in, you'll get a free PDF. It's a free resource that you can have right now. It's got a ton of good info in it, and you can use it. And then for everybody who texts in today, we're going to choose one winner, and I'll send a free copy of my book to you. So just by getting that PDF today, you're entered to win. And anyway, so the PDF, here's Mango. He wants to help. He likes helping with all marketing. The Lifecycle Marketing Master Plan is, you can take about 7 minutes. If you don't want to read through the whole PDF, jump to page 8. But if you read through there, it gives real life examples of the different parts in our business to look at. So we're going to look at how do we attract our customers? Like, who's our perfect customer? How do you get them into your system? Do you have a system, right? Once you know your people, how can you educate them and help them so that the thing they wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to solve this. Like, how can you help them? How can you give them what they need? And then next, is it easy for them to buy from you? This sounds so crazy. Like, of course, it should be easy for someone to buy from you, but some people struggle with that piece. So that's good to look at as well. And then once you're working with your customers, how can you make sure they just love you and they're super happy with you and you wow them and they're thrilled? And further, can you work with them so they give you referrals automatically? And so like how much of so the Lifecycle Marketing Master Plan gives you a way to kind of evaluate your business pretty quickly. Like I said, 7 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Look at where you've got opportunities or holes where you're like, oh gosh, maybe I need help capturing people into my system, or maybe I need an easier way for people to buy, or whatever the thing is. And once you identify that, once you figure out where you need to work on your business, that's where we get into the 7 marketing basics. Hey, pick one of these 7 and plug it into that hole. And then that is going to take you just leaps and bounds toward making more money and having a smoother business.
Right. Sounds pretty easy, actually, and quite easy to understand and implement. And one of the things that you keep mentioning is knowing your holes or knowing the gaps. How does a business actually go about finding those gaps? Because to me, there's just so many moving parts everywhere. I mean, it's a struggle. I mean, are you finding the gaps through data? Is it anecdotal? Is it something that you kind of just know? I mean, how do you know those gaps?
Yeah. So in the Lifecycle Marketing Master Plan, the PDF there, it does actually take you through like each of the 6 areas. And so probably every person on this call right now can say, yes, I know exactly who my perfect customer is. But if not, that's a good place to start. Like, who are we selling to? Because if our answer is, oh, well, I sell to everyone who has money, that's not an answer. Like, it needs to be, what's their avatar? What's the persona? Who are they like? So just starting with each piece and evaluating. And so just looking at those 6 areas, Sanjay, is how we evaluate. And sure, you can take data in, obviously. So if we say, maybe we have like marketing automation. I love marketing automation. I'm like a massive fan, because then you can make money while you're out doing things with your family and chilling. But anyway, you can take that data and look at how many people texted in to get my PDF, who then decided to go ahead and buy my book or something like that, right? You can look at the data points there. But just to start out, I think we can look almost anecdotally at the areas and go, do I have an easy way for someone to buy from me? Do I have an automatic system in place to get referrals? Like, those are kind of simple. Yes, no, I have them. Or maybe I have them, but they need to be better, in which case you can look at it as an opportunity. I don't know. Does that answer your question? Does that help?
It does. I mean, it's, I think for each company or each owner, you have your answer. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are recording this. This is going to be streamed it is being streamed on YouTube Live, and we'll have a recording for everybody who attended. So if you have to take care of something, no worries. We'll send you the link afterwards.
Can I say, for the replay people, for the folks watching the replay, you can get this free resource that we're just talking about here by texting the word oGoing, Sanjay's company, all one word. Watch out for spell check. It might get you on that, but text the word oGoing to our company phone number, which is 1-530-203-5703. So for the folks on the replay, I know you're not seeing the chat, so I want to share that, and everybody can have that free resource and take advantage of it.
Absolutely great.
Yeah. The
second pillar of your marketing, you talk about education, lead with that. That got me going, the education and help. I mean, why is that important? Shouldn't the sales team focus more on selling what they have? I mean, education is an important issue now.
You know what Larry said earlier about giving back? I'm just 100% for that. And so I like to give a ton of value. And so we teach that as a way to increase your business. And we do that with our clients. And so kind of sales 101, if the customer thinks you understand their problem, then they're willing to buy from you, right? And so we know that from our days in sales. And so what better way to demonstrate, to get that know, like, and trust going with a prospect, with a customer, than understanding their problem and then educating, like, okay, well, here's how we solve this. And once they see that you really get it, okay, some of them will take the solution away and do it themselves and maybe might not need your product or service. But a lot of them are going to be like, oh my gosh, they totally get me and I like them. And I wonder what else I can do with them. Or I want to buy that. I want to book a call. I want their service. I want their product. So by educating, we're building the know, like, and trust, building credibility. And then if they want to take another step with you, it's great.
Understood. And one other thing you mentioned is understanding the buyer, understand who your customer is. Now, what happens, Cindy, many times is as companies get larger, you have many decision makers involved, right? You have the end users.
Yeah.
You got your managers of the end users.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them gatekeepers, but they're there. And then you have, the CFO, or, if it's a small enough company, the CEO, writing the check. And here we have companies like Abhi's company, and we have I want to say Rushabh here, who is also wanting to do more things in B2B area. How interesting or difficult it becomes for companies like that to make sure that they have the messaging right and they are talking, in first person to this, I would say, all decision makers.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great that you bring that up. And
part of the lead follow-up as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 100% on the lead follow-up as well. So we work with a lot of manufacturing companies, like Ramesh, you've got manufacturing, you said that you do. And we do a lot with manufacturing. And in fact, Fallon and I were talking with someone last week, and they're selling a product where they end up going through a systems integrator or a dealer to that product. And we spent a bunch of time talking with them saying, awesome And we really should know who the end user is, because how are you going to have a conversation about that? And so one of my most favorite things to do when we're doing marketing is to jump on the phone with a salesperson. I love talking to the marketing people or the product marketing manager if the company has folks in those roles. But ultimately, the person who's the closest to the customer, or the customer service person, love talking to the customer service person, because we can actually use the words of the customer, of the end user in the marketing. So I love to go to the salesperson or the customer service department and say, I know you get one or two questions over and over again. Tell me about that. Because everyone will say, oh, everyone always asks me this. And so whatever that is can be your marketing. So whatever the objections are or the typical questions are, those are such a good resource for your marketing, whether it's email marketing or SMS or getting up on a stage or writing a book, whatever it is. Knowing what that end customer says is the way to go. And you're right, as a company gets bigger, people get more removed from the end user. And I think there just needs to be a culture of knowing who the end user is. Can I share a quick story, actually?
Yes, absolutely.
When I was working in the manufacturing for quite a long time, an ops person came in and started running operations and manufacturing and stuff like that. And there was a kind of a stand-up every day where they quickly went over who was getting a shipment that day. And they changed it to say, well, customer number 14672. And I met with her later and just said, hey, I understand why you're doing that. And could we please change back to saying this is shipping to CBS, this is shipping to Joe's Post, or whatever it is, because we need to know the people. And if it's just a number, we lose track of what they care about. So back to Kokoro, what do they care about? What's in it for me? Not me, but for the customer. And so anyway, that's my quick story of that process that kind of came in from a management style that this is how we do things. I'm like, but it takes the humanity out of it. And we're going to, a couple of years from now, maybe a couple of months, we're going to feel the pain of not understanding our customers just because of this attitude.
Makes sense. Now, the 7 marketing basics, there are 7 things businesses ought to be doing. And you figured this out because of your experience with working with so many small, medium growing businesses. I love it. There's 7 things in there, and I'm not going to go through each one of them, but definitely the one that piqued my interest was the one which I think most businesses try hard, but not everyone succeeds, is selling or sales from a white paper or a guide, like an ebook.
One of my favorites.
One of your favorites too.
Of course, they're all my favorites, but I love that one.
One of the 7 things is that give us some color on that, especially for both a B2B and maybe even a B2C, if you can think about a good example there.
Yeah. I have an example.
Yeah.
In fact, we just put a little case study together with that, and we don't have it quite published yet, but if you want, just message Fallon in the chat and we can get it to you afterward, because I don't have it on the website yet or anything. So here's the thing. We were working with the customer in the UK, actually, and in their case, they have a software product. Now they are primarily B2B, but this could work for B2C as well, because it's a software product. And so Sanjay, I'm going to actually roll 2 of the basics in here, including the white paper one. So we just talked really simple sales funnel stuff, like at the bottom of the sales funnel, they purchase. Yay. So what do they do right before that? I just started asking that. Well, they do this and they want to try it and this and that. Tell me, they want to try it. Tell me more about that. Yeah, they download a trial. Okay. So I'm going to make all the marketing go to driving people to download a trial, right? Of course, makes complete sense, but it took a lot of conversation to get there. What do people do right before they buy? But let me take you to the white paper piece, because then the next piece was, what kinds of things do people need to know before they download your trial? Well, they have this technical question. In this case, it was processing audio. So they have this technical question about how to process audio, and they have this other technical question about how to integrate with this other equipment. Great. So we came up with a white paper on that topic. So now we have a pretty basic sales funnel where people find out about you. We ask them, would you like this white paper? If they download the white paper, they've self-selected, like no one downloads a white paper unless they're interested in that topic, right? Like random people don't download white papers usually. And then we send them helpful information that's really excerpted from the white paper with every single one of them with the call to action saying, if this makes sense, go ahead and download the trial. And then once they download the trial, now we can have a salesperson phone them or pick up the process in an automatic way.
So there are two basics in there. One is the white paper and the guide or the ebook, and second is the trial, right? Because that's another.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly so. And that will work just as well for B2C as it would for B2B. So
Right.
we're working right now with a chemical company, and they sell B2C. It's a chemical that gets used widely by people, and same kind of process, exactly so. And in their case, white paper, and then go to a small sample and then make a purchase.
Right.
Works
So for somebody
beautifully.
like Pop White, who is here, Harkwasa, where they sell this amazing teeth whitening, all organic vegan products, you're saying a white paper or a guide of sorts that helps educate the consumer would probably go a long ways towards not only making them more loyal, but you think that they would buy more eventually, you think?
Well, yeah, if we're in the case of teeth whitening, and I don't know what marketing they're doing, but maybe like five things to avoid when choosing a tooth whitener. I don't know, like something like that. That's going to get people like, well, yeah, I want to know what to avoid, because we all know from sales basics that people are more away buyers than towards buyers. So they're like, especially top of the funnel, oh, I want to avoid that, or I want to, deal with this because it's broken. Whereas a towards buyers maybe like, I want the latest thing. So both are valid. But anyway, yes. So a guide maybe instructing someone like either what to choose or what not to choose in their teeth whitener, especially if it's vegan, you could get into the organic bits and stuff.
Yes, educational things that educate the would-be buyer, along the journey. That's awesome. Yeah. So that gives us a sense of a marketing basic. And you're saying once a company figures out from the 7 basics that you shared in your book, you're saying you don't have to even do all 7. You're saying basically take 1 or 2 that works really well and run with it. And that's the bottom line. That's where you can do 20% of your effort. And then you can really grow out your 80% if you do those really well. Is that the genesis?
Exactly so. And to kind of jump further off of your question around the guide white paper piece, like I think it was Reb said, all about video content and stuff for clients. And so one way we do this type of thing with the folks we work with is they'll say, well, I don't want to write a guide or white paper. It's too hard. No worries. Would you be willing to talk about it? Oh yeah, I talk about it all the time. Great. So either now we just get them on video and talk with them and we grab snippets out of that, or maybe they're more comfortable talking with their customer or coworker on a webinar like this. Yeah. And we take that content. Now we have a webinar and then turn it into a white paper or guide, and then turn it into a bunch of social posts of snippets. So you can take that and repurpose it out. Maybe the main goal is I need to educate, and I'm going to do a webinar to do my education, but then you can spin the content out into other bits and pieces as well.
Right. And you're saying once you have established and created that content, you want to put it on your website, you want to share those links on your social channels, you want to send them in an email. So everywhere where your potential customers can find that, because obviously they need to find that in order for them to eventually, do business with you.
They do. We want to be everywhere because our customers, our clients might be at a trade show if they're getting back to in-person trade shows. They might be on oGoing. They might be at the store. They might be at the Chamber of Commerce. They might be only online, or maybe we need to call them. But whatever the thing is, we can kind of go through and be almost present everywhere. And in the book, I kind of lay out exactly how we do it for our clients. So you can just take what we did and we do it. And then I made for people who want a deeper dive, I have an online course that lays out our exact templates. Like, here's exactly how we did this. You can take it and do it yourself. So that, like you said, you want to have it in all these places. We lay that all out for folks as well.
You mentioned an online course. Are you saying there is a training now available for the book?
Yeah, there is. I know you and I didn't even talk about that the other day, but I do have the 7 Marketing Basics course. So for people who want a deeper dive, the book's great. It gets into it. You could take the book and run with it. We also had some people that were like, can you show me step-by-step what to do? Can you show me step-by-step how to make a guide or white paper and how to promote it? Yes, I can. So we have a video course with templates and everything that people can just dig in and do. Yeah. And it's super affordable because we want to be able to help people and businesses of all sizes. That's our goal. We want to make it possible for everyone to take advantage.
That's fantastic. And now one of the other basics, and important basics as well, from the 7 is social media. And of course, oGoing is a very good platform for social media, especially, for business to business, and you want to share some great content. The challenge that I've found, Cindy, with social media is there is just so much content out there, trying to catch people's attention as they are out there, on different, markets, different profiles like LinkedIn and, I would say Facebook, if you're on the B2C side, Instagram, and so on. How do businesses focus on a channel that makes sense for them? And importantly, once they are on social media, what things they do differently?
I love that. That's perfect. And I have to say, one of the reasons we did social media as one of the 7 basics is, this is what I would hear all the time. I know I should do social media, but I just don't want to, or I don't have time, or I don't know what to do. So that's like kind of a typical comment. And so we just felt like this has to be one of the 7 basics. And so how to find out what platform, where are your perfect customers hanging out? So sort of back to the step 1 of like, who's your perfect customer? So like for us, our perfect customer is an overwhelmed marketer. I talked with someone on Wednesday morning who's like, we have all these global initiatives. I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And so that's our typical person we work with. Or a CEO or someone in charge of a company who's like, I know I need marketing, but I don't have time to do it. I don't want to do it. So those are our kind of 2 avatars or personas. And so for us, we look at, where do those people hang out? And so that includes social media. And so your point of, are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Facebook? Where are they? And then I think it has to give value, like you're doing here. Sanjay, you're giving value by, you've got oGoing happening, and you're making sure that the people who are part of your group or your tribe are getting a ton of value. And so that's like everything. It's like being one in, 10,000 booths at a trade show. How do you get people to your booth? Well, you make sure you give them some value, right? Like a relationship, know, like, and trust, and value. And I think that applies to social media just as well as every other in person. Does that answer your question at all?
Yes, it does. I mean, I think it's what happens to me is when I log into many of these networks lately, there's just so much information that comes at me. I mean, I spend like 10, 20, 30 minutes at the most. And if you end up following or connecting with 1,000 or 2,000 people or more, or even brands on top of that, there's a lot of content, that you get bombarded with, right? So what I'm looking at is, what is it that's going to stick, right? When I see everything that I spend 10 minutes, let's say on LinkedIn on, out of those 10 minutes, what is that one piece of content that I really loved seeing or engaging with? And now I'm going to remember it and maybe think back of getting back to it. I think, to me, that's becoming an interesting conundrum nowadays, for social marketing.
I mean, there's metrics, right? So we can look at that. And so that's a great way to do it, is sample ourselves. What do we like? sample what our perfect customer likes, and then actually look at the metrics. So we're using, we've been using Sprout, but started using Agora Pulse for a lot of our our social media marketing. And so we can just look in there and see like, okay, for this particular company, what type of content gets the most engagement and stuff like that. But like really simple, anecdotally, we were working with someone who we got him to put a video up that's just 20 seconds. Hey, we're going to be talking about this, that, and the other thing at this show. And I think you'll like it. It will help you with this problem. And he got 700 plus views right away and got a couple appointments out of it. So anecdotally, we can say like that worked. And then I can take that and use it for other customers, but then you can use metrics too.
Hey, Sanjay, can I make a comment here?
Go ahead, Steve.
And listen, Cindy, the information that you've put out here is really good. And I wanted to kind of support and echo one thing that you said earlier, which I find a lot of people making huge mistakes with marketing on. They don't pick one strategy and stick with it long enough. They try one, oh, gee, I didn't get my $1 million, I'm going to try something else. They bounce around and they confuse most of the people that are following them. And they train themselves not to stay with anything long enough to see it work. So whatever of the 7 that you offer in your book, my advice to everybody here is pick the one that you think will be easiest for you to sustain. And then just keep driving it. I'm talking 5, 6, 7 months.
Yes.
Oh, Steve, come back. Somehow you got muted. We missed you after 5, 6, 7 months, but you're totally brilliant. So I want to hear the rest.
No, look, in the sales game, what I've learned, and this has been published, I didn't come up with this, that it usually takes between 5 and 8 touch points for somebody to engage and actually show interest in what you're talking about. And in marketing, it's the same way. And if you're not constantly hitting them over your preferred channel, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube or whichever one you found seems to be the best lane on the highway to operate in, and if you're not doing that enough, you're just not building enough visibility for people to wake up and say, gee, I see this everywhere. I guess I should do something with it.
Absolutely.
100% agree with you, Steve, all the way, because, and we'll talk with folks all the time. We're like, well, I sent that one email out and I'm like, dude, okay. So if we had a 25% open rate on that, that's, you're 1 in 4 people who might have paid attention, and email's still awesome. And we need to tell people a whole lot more times. And just because you're tired of it, let's go ahead and get that message out there for the next couple of years, even if it's from different angles.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. You just talked about that one email and nothing happened. And this happens a lot, actually. A new lead comes in, Cindy and Steve, and what happens is it doesn't immediately yield results. And the next thing you know, it just simply fades away. What is the owner or the sales team doing wrong here? This happens more often than not.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Because as salespeople, we want to sell things that are going to close in the next 30 to 60 days or whatever the, cycle is on the buying cycle is, the time is on your product or your service. But most salespeople are in that 30 to 60 day range because that's what they're doing. That's what they're supposed to do. But for the marketing, we have to stay in touch so that when someone's budget comes due or someone has a light bulb and goes, oh, aha, I get that. That's why I need that we're there and they're thinking of us. So yeah, super important to have automated systems in place to stay in touch with people so they think of you.
Absolutely. So one last question for Cindy before I give it off, to all our audience members who I know that you all have questions for her. And Cindy, the question I had was this: what is the most important tip or idea that didn't make it into the book? And maybe combine with that a very hard lesson that you have learned that could have been avoided. Sorry, I have 2 questions in one.
That's all right. That's all right. So something that I found super valuable, if I can share this, is finding another person that I can meet with regularly. So and I just want to recommend this to everybody. It's not in the 7 Marketing Basics book. It's not maybe a basic for marketing, but for business, I want to say that on Thursdays, I meet with Sharon, and on Fridays, I meet with Bill, and on Friday afternoons, I meet with a group of women who are KEEP certified partners. And we all share information and help each other out. Some people would call it accountability. I don't know why I'm not a huge fan of that word, but whatever. I like to think of it more like helping each other out and sharing, okay, like these are my goals for the coming week. You know, for this week, I'm going to do 2 videos promoting my oGoing appearance and be sure that I send messages out to people to invite them or whatever the thing is, right? And just meeting with someone every week, even if they're not in your same line of business, it's the best thing ever. So I want to share that as an idea in helping every single person here grow their business, no matter what size. And in a bigger company, you might call it a mentor or something like that. And you maybe have a paid mentor or a paid business coach. But there's no reason a solopreneur or a smaller business person can't do this. You can do it. There's other people out there like you who want to grow their businesses, and you can share and grow together. So that's one of my big ones, Sanjay.
That's an important one right there. Have somebody you can trust and get advice from, and maybe even have a sound off, board, if you may, right? So if you have new ideas and things like that. Questions from the audience. You can unmute your mic, as Brad has given us a tip. Just use the space bar and fire away your questions. We welcome you and put it in chat if you don't want to ask her directly. But this is your time. Go for it. Who has the next question?
I heard Steve say it takes 7 to 8. I think, Steve, that used to be, and I don't want to say pre-COVID, I've heard that the time is now more like the 10 to 12 touches, that people are really not responsive. I think the 7 to 8 might have been, a long time ago when they did that survey, but it's gone up to much more touches, I think, today. And I think Cindy might agree to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen things that say, well, you need to get your message out there 27 times because they're only going to see it a third of the time. So it depends on what numbers you take. But my takeaway from that is one email or one post or one phone call is not enough. And we know that from sales anyway, right? And sales is just, marketing is just really the sales conversation turned into another medium, I think. And so yes, I am with you. Many, many, many touches. And just because we're tired of it and we think it's old news, it's not. Because how many times do you run into someone who you think like, this is a friend of mine and they don't even know what I do? I can say that I learned this lesson the hard way. So Sanjay, you were asking for hard learned lessons. I can think of so many, but this one fits right now. I was talking to somebody and he was, and Ilya, you'll know this person. He's an engineer at ESPN. And this is when I was selling hardware. And he said, oh, I just bought a whole bunch of this particular kind of hardware. And my heart sunk. And I looked at him, I'm like, you know what? I have that too. And he goes, oh, I didn't know you made that. And I thought, oh my gosh, I talk to this person every week. I've completely failed, like I think everyone knows what I have to offer. And clearly I missed the boat on that one. So many touches. Yes, please.
Go ahead. Next question for Cindy. Open platform. Anybody can fire over the question.
I have a question, Cindy. Great, great talking points so far. So, just to give a little bit of my background, this is my first startup. I've first startup, first time founder. One of the things that I'm finding hard coming from a very strong technical background is just the world of outreach, like reaching out to people and getting them to do something. And it's not even about like selling something, right? It's just about getting them to talk to you. So for example, in the current phase that we are in, we are really talking to prospective, customers or people who can be interested in the space that we are building, right? Which is the telehealth, healthcare and health tech, like cutting edge of technology combined with the very traditional antiquated world of healthcare. So we're trying to find a lot of people. So what are your tips for just, reaching out in a way that they will respond? I know there are a lot of things that are kind of suggested, but anything that kind of jumps at the top of your mind for somebody like me, and which can be very actionable, so to speak. Thanks.
Absolutely, Abby. One thing that comes to mind is asking a question. So people are often really happy to help you. I'll help. If anybody calls me and asks me a question, I'll totally talk to them and help them. And I think a lot of people are like that, and they'll gladly help. So if you have a question for them, maybe, I'm working on this new software on telehealth and we're deciding if A or B are better. And if you have 2 seconds to let me know what you think, something like that, people want to be helpful. And especially if you have a relationship with them, that works so very, very well. So I don't know if that's the kind of thing you're thinking of. Does that resonate at all to you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the hard things, one of the things we are having a hard time with is scheduling a quick, say, Zoom call for 15, 20 minutes. We're doing like customer discovery, for example, where it's like rapid fire, 10, 15 questions. We ask them, and then we kind of try to understand the lay of the land, like where they operate. So yeah, it's similar, but it's not always 100% hit rate when you send that LinkedIn message or email, right?
100% hit rate is never in my experience. So it's just numbers. So if you even get 50% hit rate, I'd say you're killing it. So if you know that, okay, for every 100 people I ask, 25 say yes to doing this quick call with me, right on. And then just if you're doing that stuff, you're probably doing this, transcribe those calls and take the actual language out and start using that in your marketing. That stuff's gold. Right. And then how can you make those people feel special and feel like they're in with you on the designing of the product so that they become your advocate? Like, I'm sure you wouldn't do this. Somebody might like have a focus group or thing like that, and the person feels like they just had all this info sucked out of them, but they didn't get anything in return, and they're going to feel bad. So if you can get them in there so they feel like they're enrolled and like they helped design the product, like that's the best thing ever. So just 2 cents on that.
Yeah, fantastic tip. Yeah, make them feel included in whatever you're doing.
Yes, like they actually were in the inner circle that helped design this, and they informed the decision that the product went this direction. Like, how cool is that?
Bingo. Thank you.
Yeah.
And on your messages, Abhi, you can try ABC, different types of messages to see which one gives you the best, return on the replies.
Right,
so
right.
Don't be shy in trying that out. You don't know what message is ultimately going to stick with your potential customers that you need inputs from.
Yeah, that's right. We call it the A/B testing, right? Like there are different versions of the same website and see what gets most clicks.
Absolutely. Next question for Cindy. Who's next?
Cindy, this is Alan Holmes out here in sunny Hemet on the way to Rancho Cucamonga. First of all, an amazing presentation, young lady. I believe that you were sharing your incredible information for half of the affiliate network marketers that are out there. I don't know if that is, I'm actually an affiliate marketer, and I've been working with moving toward the oGoing train for 12 years, and I'm gonna follow up with the accountability. I'm putting myself on blast in front of everybody to connect with them. But my question is, how do you take a affiliate marketer who just gobbles every bit of information that's out there and slow them down long enough to say, you know what, here is da. How do you move to there? And because I actually tend to work with the affiliate marketing, and now with some of the online virtual expos, I attend the small to medium-sized business. And then this morning with nonprofits, preferably a young lady who is with a veterans group, because I'm a veteran myself. So you have all those moving parts and everything else. I love your 7 steps, but how do you take that and slow that down for those network marketers or the affiliate marketers are the ones who just gobble all this information in there on this adrenaline rush and then they crash. If that makes any sense.
So is it that they're just like a machine, like they're sucking all the info in, but you're wishing they would take action and actually put it into practice? Is that more what it's about? Or tell me what the desired outcome is. What do you wish was happening instead? Tell me more about that.
Okay, yeah, I believe, I wish they would just take their information and make some kind of decision on realizing that this is what they need to do, because I realize that, and I'll go and use myself because I don't want to use anybody else, is people do not wake up in the morning and say, hey, you know what? I want to do business with Alan. Who is that Alan? Because he does all this over then one day he does this and he has all information. And Sanjay and I have had this for years. He's tested me and I know this. I've been waiting 12 years to have this conversation, you know, and it's just an amazing, but that's that decision and that stuck in analysis paralysis. But I love that white paper you said that I've never even thought about that, taking them to make their trial, because they get and they gather all these little acorns, but then you're like, okay, it's 6 years later and they're still, what in the world are they not doing? And I feel like I myself have been caught up in that conundrum.
I have an idea I could throw out there if that's okay.
Oh, I'm open. Yes, ears are listening. No.
What if there was more of a 6-week group or 6-week challenge? Like I'm just gonna pick mine since we're talking 7 marketing basics, but you can pick whatever you want. So we're gonna build a guide or checklist or white paper, and you're gonna invite your affiliates to, hey, we're gonna have a 6-week challenge. And on week 1, we're deciding who our perfect customer is. And on week 2, we're deciding what the topic is and writing out the 3 bullet points and, you know, whatever the thing is. And you make that so they're not just going to gobble it in and then do nothing. Analysis paralysis, like you said, which Fallon knows. We talk about this all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, just do it and iterate. Like, stop trying to make it perfect. But put together a 6-week or 5-week challenger group and then like just break it out bit by bit. And then, okay, next week, everybody's going to show up with X, you know, and like, it's real clear. How does that resonate with you?
That is actually excellent. I'm definitely going to get your 7 books and pick one of the 7 because I tend to grab about 12. So thank you so much for being part of the panel. My heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone else has a question for Cindy? You know, go ahead, please. We have maybe a couple of more minutes before we close this fireside chat.
And if you haven't texted in to get the free resource, do that. And then anybody on that today, we're going to just use Siri and just do a random number. And then we'll text you back later today and say, hey, you're the winner, and ship a book off. So one of you guys will win the book.
Yeah. So Fallon just send in the message on the text, how to text and all that. If no one has, I have one last question for Cindy, which I forgot to ask earlier, the rule of 70 and why that is important, especially in the world we live today where buyers, they really do a lot of homework and through many different venues. So Cindy, if you can close with that and you know, enlighten us on that, please.
Yeah. And, you know, that ties right into what we were touching on earlier, is that there are so many touches that it takes for people to find out about you. And so we do have people coming to our website and researching and getting to know who we are before they make a decision. We don't even know they're deciding. So they're checking us out on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on oGoing, on our websites and our emails, deciding, are we going to work with them or not? And they might decide before we before we even know who they are. And we need to have something in place to help them connect with us so we can have that conversation. So Alan, like, you'd be offering your 6-week challenge to get them in there before they decide, I read all Alan's stuff and I'm not going to talk to him. Like, have a place where you can invite people. Like, I want to invite everyone here to my free Facebook group. That way we can have a relationship. So always have a place where you can invite people, because we want to engage with them and help them in their decision making, whether they're going to work with us or not, be in our group or not. And that's really what the rule of 70 is all about, is people are making those decisions and doing all their research. Sometimes we don't know it, but if we put something in place to where they can have a conversation with us and join us, and we make it easy for them to do that, that is better for everybody's business. Does that answer your question, Sanjay? Is that what you were going for?
Yeah. It's about the multiple touch points. I mean, people spend 70% of their research time before they even think of buying something, and I think that's something very important, especially from an educational point of view, right? The more education you can provide to your not just one buyer, but all the potential decision makers up front.
Yes.
Everybody involved in the decision making cycle, if you may. The more, I would say, compelled they would be to take action and potentially do business with you. So I would say keep that in mind, as to how many folks are out there researching your products, your services, your company. And I think the more information you provide, the more, not too much information, but the one which is relevant for the decision making.
I do have a follow-on to that.
Go ahead.
Some people are afraid to give away too much information. I don't want to give away all my secrets because then they'll never buy from me. I want to say, don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. Go ahead and give away your best information. And as Alan mentioned earlier, that's how they start to know, like, and trust you, and how you can build that up. Like, give away your best stuff. And that's how you gain more customers and grow your business.
So that has changed, right? So that used to be where some of that information, or most of it, you would only do it in a sales demo or in a live demo. But now I think the rules of the game have changed. You're right. I think more is better. The more upfront info you give, the better. Now, of course, you can keep a wall in the front where they have to fill in their information to download it.
Yes.
With that, but still give them all the education they need ahead of time, so that by the time they even talk to somebody at your company, I think they have most everything they really need to make a decision. Yeah.
Well said. Exactly. I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, if we have no more questions, I want to say thank you to Cindy and Fallon and the team at Kokoro, and the book. I mean, everything what you all are doing, it's amazing. Thank you, Cindy. What amazing fireside chat, and all the questions you answered, and the tips you have given. Really appreciate it. We have recorded this, so I'm sure folks can go back and review them later on. And I think everybody will agree here, who are still here, that this was a really good conversation with you. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend. And I'll look for you in my 7 Marketing Basics Facebook group, and I'll look for you on oGoing.
Absolutely, folks. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And the month of June, we'll probably come up with the next roundtable and or a chat very soon, and look for updates from me. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.